When Jamal and Jaden Carter enrolled at the Crescent Moon Karate Dojo, they braced for challenges as two of the few black students in a mostly white academy. At 15, the twins expected a tough journey but were unprepared for the ordeal ahead. From day one, Ethan Brooks and Mason Reed, two smug black belt tormentors, set out to crush the spirited newcomers. The harassment intensified when Ethan mocked them, comparing their moves to apes mimicking human actions, crossing a line. Unbeknownst to the bullies, the Carters trained secretly each night with their father. Ethan and Mason thought they were dismantling two defenseless orange belts, reveling in their dominance, oblivious to the resilience building beneath the twins' bruised exteriors. They were dead wrong. Pause here, drop a comment with your location, and hit subscribe for tomorrow's gripping tale. In the dojo, the heavy bag rocked under Jamal Carter's clumsy punches. Each hit a muffled thud, revealing his novice status. The 15-year-old struggled, his strikes lacking finesse, but his determination burned bright despite the steep learning curve. Sweat dripped from Jamal's brow as he fumbled through the combo their coach had shown. Jab, cross, uppercut. His rhythm was off, his footing shaky. Next to him, Jaden mirrored the drill. Their movements synced instinctively, a twin bond forged since birth. Their shared effort was raw, but carried a quiet resolve that hinted at untapped potential. Jamal shifted his stance, and Jaden followed, their actions fluidly aligned without conscious thought. "Orange belts this way," barked Sensei Harper from across the Crescent Moon Karate Dojo. The 52-year-old instructor glided among students with seasoned command, his black belt faded from decades of wear, a testament to his expertise and authority in the martial arts world. "Let's drill basic postures." The dojo, nestled in a strip mall corner at Oakridge Plaza, gleamed with mirrored walls catching the afternoon sun. 20 students filled the space, most in white GIs, their belts, green, blue, brown, marking their ranks. The Carter twins, among only 4 black students, stood out as fresh orange belts, earned just 3 weeks prior after 4 months as white belts. Jamal and Jaden shuffled to the assigned spot, their mirrored movements earning curious glances. At 15, they shared identical builds from soccer, lean and agile, and wore matching expressions of grit, hiding their unease in this mostly white setting. "Crane stance, hold for 60 seconds, Harper ordered, his voice cutting through the dojo's hum of activity. The twins sank into the stance, calves burning as they balanced on one leg. Around them, veteran students executed complex katas with smooth precision, underscoring the Carters' beginner status. "Check out the twins," Ethan Brooks's voice rang out from the black belt corner, dripping with mockery that made Jamal's jaw tighten, his focus wavering under the sting of the taunt. The 18-year-old sneer carried across the room, like watching chimps wrestle with human tricks. Mason Reed chuckled nearby. Maybe they'd catch on quicker with some fruit tossed their way. The word slammed into Jamal like a fist, his balance faltering. Jaden's stance wobbled too, their twin connection amplifying the shared sting of the cruel jibe. Other students overheard, their eyes flicking between the twins and the black belts, tension rippling through the room. Sensei Harper, just 10 feet away, kept coaching as if deaf to the insults. "Keep those knees bent, orange belts. Strength starts with a solid base." His indifference cut deeper than the taunts, leaving the twins exposed to the unchecked hostility. Jaden's fists clenched, his knuckles whitening. Jamal sensed his brother's rage, their twin bond doubling every emotion. One's pain was the other's. One's shame burned in both. "Sparring practice now," Harper declared, clapping sharply. "Pair up with someone at your level." The command hung heavy, promising another round of torment for the Carters in the dojo's unforgiving arena. Jamal wiped damp hands on his GI, scanning for a fellow orange belt. But Ethan Brooks was already closing in, his smirk predatory. "New blood," he taunted, loud enough for Mason's amusement. "Let's see what these kids can manage." Jaden murmured, "We should stick with orange belts?" his analytical mind groping for an escape from the looming threat. "Relax," Mason Reed joined, his black belt stark against the twins' orange ones. "We'll show you real skills, unless you'd rather crawl back to whatever you picked up in the alleys." The veiled racism in his tone set Jamal's blood boiling. He stepped forward, but Jaden's grip on his arm held him back, their silent understanding averting a reckless clash. Their twin intuition staved off a fight that would only worsen their plight. "Bow to your partner," Harper called from across the room. Jamal faced Mason, while Ethan squared off with Jaden. The twins shared a fleeting look, a wordless pact honed since childhood. Stay composed, stay united, endure. The dojo's air thickened with the promise of a grueling ordeal. "Light contact only," Harper shouted. "Focus on form, not force." Sparring began, and Jamal instantly felt outmatched. Mason's first kick, supposedly restrained, slammed into his side, stealing his breath. The force was deliberate, a clear message. Jamal staggered, his novice footwork failing him, the dojo's mirrored walls reflecting his struggle against a far superior opponent. The blow knocked Jamal back, his lungs gasping for air. "Whoops," Mason said with mock surprise. "Guess these orange belts are softer than they seem." Across the mat, Jaden faced similar cruelty. Ethan's light punches landed with surgical accuracy. Each hit a calculated jab at Jaden's pride, designed to break his spirit under the guise of training. Jaden tried a basic combo they'd practiced, but Ethan swatted it aside, countering with a leg sweep that sent Jaden crashing down. "Stay there," Ethan sneered, offering no hand. "That's your place." Jaden hauled himself up, his face a storm of shame and fury, the dojo's bright lights exposing every moment of his public humiliation. Jamal felt Jaden's degradation as keenly as his own, their twin bond making the torment a shared burden. The sparring dragged on for 10 punishing minutes, bruises blooming on both Carters. Ethan and Mason kept up their charade of mentorship, their barbs sharpening as Harper conveniently focused elsewhere, leaving the twins to fend for themselves. "Maybe your dad should have signed you up for track," Mason huffed after clipping Jamal's arm with a sharp elbow. "Stick to what your kind excels at." "We're not giving up," Jamal growled, tasting blood from a cut lip. Ethan, yanking Jaden up from another takedown, scoffed, "We'll see. This dojo demands standards you can't meet." The session ended, and the twins packed their bags in heavy silence, limping from their wounds. Their orange belts screamed their inexperience, a badge of their vulnerability. Other students avoided their gaze, the room thick with unease. "Solid effort today," Harper boomed to the class, his words hollow to the Carters, who'd endured far more than drills. "Martial arts forges character through discipline and honor," Harper added, the irony biting deep. As they limped toward the exit, Jamal caught Ethan and Mason whispering by the gear racks, their voices low but cutting. "Won't last a month," Mason muttered. The words landed like another blow, fueling the twins' quiet resolve to endure. "Their dad's probably locked up somewhere," Ethan hissed. "They should stick to their own spots." Jaden's stride hitched, and Jamal felt his brother's restraint fray. Before they could react, their father's SUV rolled into the lot, its engine's low growl signaling Marcus Carter's arrival. The twins masked their pain, but their matching bruises told a story impossible to hide. Marcus Carter stepped from his vehicle, his frame toughened by years in construction and a decade in the Marines. His sharp eyes scanned his son's battered appearances, the cautious steps, the forced calm. At 42, his presence commanded respect, honed by leading teams through high-stakes projects and military missions, now fixed on his boy's unspoken suffering. "How was training?" Marcus asked, his voice steady but laced with authority that demanded truth. "Okay," the twins answered in unison, their sync unbroken even in their lie. Marcus's gaze lingered on Jamal's swollen lip and Jaden's scraped knuckles, his silence heavy with suspicion, reading the signs of a battle they weren't ready to confess. "Pick up anything useful?" "Yeah," Jamal said, exchanging a loaded glance with Jaden, their unspoken bond carrying layers of meaning. We're learning plenty. Weeks passed, the routine as grueling as it was predictable. Every Monday and Wednesday, the Carters arrived at the dojo with fresh resolve, only to be worn down by Ethan and Mason's relentless campaign. "Partner swaps today?" Harper announced in their 7th week. "Veterans guide the rookies on sparring basics." Jamal's gut twisted as Ethan's stare pinned him from across the room, that familiar cruel grin flashing. "Jackpot," Mason muttered to Ethan, loud enough for others to hear. "Easy marks." Their words a prelude to another session of veiled brutality. The sparring started with a show of proper teaching. Ethan walked Jaden through a blocking move, his motions deliberate for the parents watching nearby. "Watch my elbow placement," he said, voice smooth as a seasoned coach. Jaden copied the technique, earning a nod. The calm before Ethan's next move shattered their fragile trust in the exercise. Jaden mimicked the block, and Ethan gave a curt approval. Then, without warning, his fist shot past Jaden's guard, slamming into his chest. Jaden crumpled, gasping for breath. "You left yourself open," Ethan said with fake concern. "In a real scrap, that mistake costs you." The blow was no accident, a stark reminder of their power imbalance. Jamal lunged toward his brother, but Mason grabbed his shoulder, his grip iron. "Let him figure it out, unless you think he's too frail for real training." The taunt hung heavy. Jamal knew backing down would abandon Jaden, but agreeing meant facing Mason's tailored cruelty, a choice between loyalty and enduring another round of calculated punishment. "I can take anything you dish out," Jamal said, his voice firmer than his nerves. Mason's smile widened, predatory. "Great, let's do combos." The next 20 minutes were a masterclass in disguised abuse. Mason's strikes hit harder than needed, his corrections paired with shoves and trips that sent Jamal sprawling, each fall a lesson in humiliation. "You're too wild," Mason said after sweeping Jamal's legs. "Your kind always thinks brute strength wins. Karate's about finesse." The racial jab was subtle, deniable, but cut deep. Jamal's anger flared, the heat Jaden usually tempered. Across the mat, Jaden grappled with Ethan's escalating attacks, each move designed to keep him down and spirit broken. Jaden fought to keep up, but Ethan's demos turned vicious, every block ending with Jaden floored, breathless. "Maybe try something else," Ethan said, hauling Jaden up from another throw. "Something that suits you better, like sprinting." Jaden's quiet defiance, "I'm staying," earned him another brutal drill. Ethan's smirk signaling no mercy for the orange belt. From the front desk, Harper watched with apparent approval, his focus conveniently elsewhere when parents raised concerns. "Karate's tough," he told a worried father whose daughter wanted a new partner. "We uphold rigorous standards." The twins, battered and silent, nursed their injuries in Marcus's SUV, the weight of their ordeal pressing down like a physical force. "Dad'll catch on soon," Jaden said, pressing ice to his sore ribs. "We say we're training," Jamal replied. "It's not a lie." "Training for what? To feel out of place?" Jaden's voice carried his internalized pain, unlike Jamal's quick-burning fury. Their differences surfaced, but their shared resolve held firm, a quiet vow to endure and overcome. "We belong wherever we choose," Jamal said, his tone unyielding. "They don't get to gatekeep that." Jaden winced, unconvinced. 3 days later, Marcus made a bold move. Instead of dropping them off, he parked and followed them into the dojo, saying he wanted to observe. The twins swapped anxious looks, sensing a shift as their father's presence loomed large. Marcus settled into the parent seating, his marine-honed posture commanding attention. His protective aura changed the dojo's vibe, a shield the twins hadn't felt in weeks. "Mr. Carter," Harper greeted with polished warmth. "Glad to see a parent engaged in their kid's progress." Marcus nodded, his eyes scanning the room, missing nothing, a silent warning to all. The class unfolded differently. Ethan and Mason played their senior roles, but their taunts grew subtler, their hits more restrained. The twins felt the shift, a cautious reprieve under Marcus's watchful gaze. Still, the undercurrent of hostility lingered, cloaked in careful moves, as the bullies adapted to avoid exposing their true intent to an observant outsider. "Nice work today," Ethan told Jaden after a rough grappling bout, his tone falsely warm. "You're coming along. Your dad must be thrilled with how you're fitting in." The word fitting carried a barbed edge, but its delivery was so earnest that Marcus, watching from afar, saw only mentorship, blind to the venom beneath the surface. Mason mirrored the tactic with Jamal, his praise dripping with superiority. "You're starting to follow orders better. Good to see you learning where you stand." Post-class, Marcus chatted with Harper about the twins' progress. "They're committed," Harper said. "Athletic, but karate's more than physical. It's about blending into a disciplined system." "My boys are solid," Marcus replied. "Raised to respect rules and hustle. With proper coaching, they'll find their rightful spot." The phrase, rightful spot, landed like a veiled jab to the twins, its hidden meaning lost on Marcus but searing for Jamal and Jaden, who felt the weight of being judged unfit for the dojo's hierarchy. Driving home, Marcus seemed pleased. "Looks like you're getting solid training. Harper runs a tight operation." "Yes, sir," the twins replied in sync, their harmony cloaking the bitter truth. "Those older kids seem supportive," Marcus added, oblivious to the torment they masked. The twins' silence spoke volumes, their reality starkly different from their father's perception. "They're teaching us plenty," Jaden said softly from the back seat, his words technically true. They were learning harsh lessons about systemic bias, about authority figures turning a blind eye, about isolation in plain sight. "That's what I want to hear," Marcus said, pulling into their driveway. "Karate builds grit, prepares you for life's challenges." As they grabbed their bags, Jamal caught Jaden's eye in the SUV's interior light. A shared thought passed wordlessly. They were surviving, but not as their father imagined. That night, in their shared room, the twins finally voiced their truth. "It's not improving," Jaden whispered. "I know," Jamal replied, the darkness amplifying their shared desperation. "What if we tell Dad everything?" Jaden asked. Jamal waited. Marcus had drilled them to face fights head-on, to earn respect through grit. How could they admit the system was stacked against them? "He wouldn't buy it," Jamal said. "He saw Harper, saw Ethan and Mason. It all looked fine to him because they played it that way?" "Exactly. If we speak up, we look weak, like we can't hack it." Jaden fell silent, the quiet stretching until Jamal thought he'd drifted off. Then Jaden's voice cut through, firm with resolve matching Jamal's fire. "Then we get stronger, tough enough that they can't touch us." "How?" "They're black belts." "We're barely orange belts," Jamal countered, skeptical. "I don't know yet," Jaden admitted. "But there's got to be a way." Outside, the quiet suburban street glowed under lamplight, a facade of the American dream their parents had fought for. Inside, two 15-year-old boys plotted their survival in a battle their father couldn't see and their coach refused to acknowledge, their resolve hardening against the odds. Week 9 kicked off as usual, the twins packing their gear while Marcus sipped coffee, his overtime shifts leaving him drained. "Need a lift home?" he asked, glancing at his watch. "I can swing by after my site inspection." "We'll walk," Jamal said fast, dreading Marcus witnessing another round of their carefully hidden torment. "It's getting dark early," Marcus noted. "I don't mind grabbing you." "We're good, Dad," Jaden added. "The walk helps us unwind." Marcus eyed them, then nodded. At the dojo, they drilled forms, their home practice with online videos showing results. Their stances were sharper, but the looming partner drills promised another test of their endurance. "Defensive moves against multiple foes today," Harper announced. The drill favored advanced students, yet the twins were picked as demo partners. Ethan and Mason eagerly stepped up, their enthusiasm a red flag Harper ignored. The setup felt like a trap, the dojo's mirrors reflecting the twins' growing dread as the black belts closed in with predatory intent. "Stay fluid," Ethan told the class, circling the twins with Mason. "When outnumbered, standing still is suicide." What followed was a brutal display masked as instruction. The black belts unleashed a relentless barrage, leaving Jamal and Jaden battered and reeling, their orange belts no match for the calculated aggression disguised as a teaching moment. "Notice how they retreat?" Mason called, tripping Jaden to the mat. "That's the wrong instinct for real karate." Jamal moved to help, but Ethan's knee strike doubled him over. "Focus on yourself first," Ethan lectured, pinning Jamal down. "You can't save your buddy if you're down where you belong." The crowd watched, the lesson twisted into cruelty. The ordeal lasted 15 excruciating minutes. Each twin's attempt to recover was thwarted by an attack on the other, keeping them off balance. "Some folks aren't built for this," Ethan said, yanking Jaden up, his grip bruising. The twins endured, their pride in tatters but their survival intact, the dojo's bright lights exposing their struggle to all. Class ended, and the twins gathered their gear with grim resilience. Their bodies throbbed, their spirits bruised, yet they'd made it through. Outside, Marcus's SUV pulled up unexpectedly, his meeting cut short. The twins froze, their injuries glaring under the lot's dim lights, knowing their father's sharp eyes would see the truth they'd tried to conceal. Through the dojo's wide windows, Marcus glimpsed Ethan and Mason joking by the equipment, their laughter carrying. "Did you see them drop?" Mason crowed. "Like they've never fought for real." "Probably just street brawling," Ethan added. "No skill, just flailing like beasts." The racial venom hit Marcus like a shockwave, his worst suspicions igniting. The twins stepped out, their injuries undeniable. Jamal's lip bled, his GI ripped. Jaden moved gingerly, ribs aching. Marcus's marine instinct snapped on, recognizing abuse from countless battlefield injuries. "Get in the car," he said, his voice low with controlled rage, the kind that promised action, not words, as he pieced together their silent suffering. At home, under the kitchen's stark lights, their wounds stood out. Cuts, bruises, exhaustion. "How long?" Marcus demanded. "Dad, it's not—" Jamal started. "How long?" Marcus cut in, his tone unyielding. Jaden's voice was barely audible. "Since day one." The truth spilled. 9 weeks of relentless torment, hidden while Marcus thought they were thriving. "Harper saw it all?" Marcus asked, his voice tight. "He was right there," Jamal said. "But when you came, they played it clean." Marcus paced, his reflection in the window showing a man at a crossroads. "What now?" Jaden asked. Marcus's mind raced, options narrowing. "We give them one shot to fix this," he decided, his tone final. "What if Harper doesn't listen?" Jamal pressed. Marcus's smile was cold, resolute. "Then we take care of it ourselves." That night, he hauled a heavy bag and strike pads from storage. If the dojo wouldn't shield his sons, he'd arm them with skills to fight back, his marine training ready to forge them into something unstoppable. The next evening, Marcus strode into the dojo, his purpose clear. Harper glanced up from the desk, his professional smile faltering. "Mr. Carter, how can I help?" "We need to discuss my boys and what's happening in your classes." Harper's expression stayed calm, but a flicker of unease betrayed him as Marcus's intensity filled the room. "Let's talk in my office," Harper said, leading the way. Ethan and Mason paused their warm-ups, their cocky grins fading to worry. The air shifted, a storm brewing. Marcus followed Harper into a small office lined with trophies and certificates, symbols of prestige that now felt like a facade, hiding a darker truth about the dojo. The office screamed tradition, framed awards, photos of victorious students, inspirational quotes. It was the perfect cover for abuse cloaked as discipline. "Take a seat," Harper said, easing behind his desk with the confidence of someone used to diffusing parental complaints. "What's the issue?" Marcus stood firm, his presence dominating the cramped space, his anger barely leashed. "My boys have been battered in your classes for 9 weeks, Marcus Carter said, his voice a low growl. "Targeted with racial slurs, physically abused by your black belt students." Sensei Harper's face shifted to feigned worry. "Mr. Carter, training can be tough for beginners, but what you're describing doesn't match our program's values at Crescent Moon Dojo. Ethan Brooks and Mason Reed have been using my sons as punching bags," Marcus pressed, his tone steady but laced with danger. "Right under your nose, with other students watching, and you've done nothing." Harper leaned back, unfazed. "That's a heavy accusation. Ethan and Mason are model students from prominent families, pillars of our dojo community." "They've trained here for years," Harper added, stressing prominent families. Marcus's eyes narrowed. "So my sons are liars?" "I'm saying kids often misread tough coaching as harassment. Karate's demanding, not for everyone." Marcus's fists tightened, knuckles whitening. The suggestion that his boys couldn't handle the dojo's rigor was a deliberate jab at their worth. "Last night, I heard those punks call my sons beasts, mocking them with street-fighting jokes," Marcus said. Harper's calm wavered. "I didn't hear any such language." "You were 10 feet away. Don't play me for a fool." Silence hung thick, charged with unspoken threats and Harper's failure to act, the air heavy with accountability. Harper coughed, shuffling papers on his desk. "Maybe we can find a compromise," he said. "The Brooks and Reed families are major donors. Their support funds our programs, scholarships, keeps us running." Marcus's gaze hardened. "So you shield them because they pay you?" "I'm balancing what's best for the dojo's community," Harper replied, defensive. "My boys are strong, but you're saying they'd be better off elsewhere, somewhere suited to their background?" Marcus's voice dropped, venomous. "You mean because they're black?" Harper stood, deflecting. "I mean new to discipline training. Some adapt to our structure better." "Structure? You call black belts pounding orange belts while you watch structure?" Marcus snapped. Harper squared his shoulders, meeting Marcus's intensity. "Mr. Carter, I've run this dojo for 16 years. I know training from abuse. If your sons can't handle our program's rigor, they're being targeted, not struggling." "Then this isn't their school," Harper said, his words a challenge. Marcus saw the truth. Complicity drove Harper's inaction. Marcus studied Harper's calculating eyes, seeing a man prioritizing profit over justice. "Your fix is my boys leave quietly, so you keep cash from bigoted parents who let their kids terrorize anyone different." Harper shifted uncomfortably. "I'm seeking a practical solution." Marcus turned to the door, pausing. "You've got until tomorrow to make this right. Move those boys to another class, discipline them publicly, stop this harassment," Marcus said, "or I handle it my way." His smile was icy, a promise of consequences. Outside, the evening session started. Jamal and Jaden warmed up, cautious from fresh bruises. Ethan and Mason lounged across the room, exuding smug confidence. In the office, Harper slumped into his chair, Marcus's ultimatum echoing. The Brooks and Reed families funded nearly a third of the dojo's budget: fees, lessons, gear sales. Losing them could shutter the place, cut jobs, end programs. But Marcus Carter's resolve was unshakable, a man who'd follow through. The dojo's future hung in the balance. At the Carter home, the twins sat at the kitchen table, textbooks open but ignored. They glanced at the clock, nerves fraying. "What's Dad saying to Harper?" Jaden asked, tapping his pencil anxiously. "Whatever it takes," Jamal replied, his grip tight on his pen, betraying his own tension as they awaited their father's return. "What if it backfires?" Jaden pressed. Jamal looked up from his science homework. "Worse than now? They're already breaking us." "They could really break us, or we get booted." "Maybe that's not the worst outcome," Jamal said. Jaden stared, surprised. Their twin bond was tight, but Jamal's readiness to upend everything caught him off guard. "You want to quit?" Jaden asked. "I want a place where we're not trash every day," Jamal said. "But I also want to prove we belong anywhere we choose. Those might not mix. Then we make them mix." The door opened, and Marcus entered, his face stern, his marine posture sharper, signaling a pivotal moment. "How'd it go?" Jamal asked. Marcus hung his keys and sat. Harper cares more about his donors than his students. He knows what's happening and won't stop it. Jaden's heart sank. "So what's next?" Marcus studied his sons, seeing their resilience and their mother's sense of justice. "We prepare for when words fail." "Prepare how?" Jamal asked, sensing the weight in his father's tone. "If the system won't protect you, I'll teach you to protect yourselves." Jaden felt a mix of thrill and fear. "You mean fighting?" "I mean surviving," Marcus said, "ensuring no one touches you without paying a price." That night he cleared the garage for training. The twins watched Marcus turn the cluttered garage into a combat zone, hanging a heavy bag from a beam. "Your mom doesn't need to know yet," he said, securing the bag. "This stays between us until we see Harper's next move." "What are you teaching us?" Jamal asked, curiosity edging out his apprehension. Marcus's grin was fierce. "Everything I learned in 10 years of Marine combat training. Stuff no fancy dojo teaches." Jaden hesitated. "Is that legal?" "Self-defense is always legal," Marcus said. "After what I've seen, anything you do to protect yourselves is justified." The twins shared a look, their bond conveying a realization. This was real power. "When do we start?" Jamal asked, eager. "Now," Marcus said, slipping on focus mitts. "Tomorrow, we see if Harper keeps his word. If not—" He trailed off, the unspoken promise clear. Action would replace talk. The garage hummed with purpose at 10 p.m., no longer a workshop but a training ground for survival. Marcus had parked his SUV outside, clearing tools to make space. The heavy bag swayed in the cool air. "First rule," he said, wrapping his hands. "The dojo's techniques make you predictable. Fixed stances, set combos, all for control." Jamal and Jaden stood in school clothes, unsure but ready for their father's unconventional lessons. "In a real fight, predictable gets you hurt," Marcus said. "We don't play by dojo rules." Jaden spoke cautiously. "Dad, we're not out to harm anyone. We just want them to back off." Marcus's laugh was grim. "They've been harming you for weeks. This isn't about starting trouble. It's about ending it fast." He showed a stance unlike the dojo's. Low, fluid, hands poised to strike. "Marines don't waste time on flashy moves. We neutralize threats and move on. That's your lesson." For an hour, he drilled them on speed, aggression, targeting weak spots. Throat, knees, solar plexus. No ceremonial sparring, just raw, effective combat. "Forget looking polished," Marcus said, holding mitts for Jamal's punches. "Make sure the other guy can't keep going." The twins caught on fast, their soccer-honed agility blending with Marcus's tactics. More than skills, they grasped the mindset shift, from prey to predators. The garage echoed with the thud of strikes, a new strength emerging. "Next time Mason grabs you," Marcus told Jamal, "don't pull away. Use his grip to close in and hit hard." Jaden frowned. "What if we get in trouble?" "For defending against proven bullies." "Let them try selling that to your mom." The twins felt a surge of confidence, their father's training a shield the dojo never offered. Across town, the Brooks family dined, discussing Ethan's dojo progress. Nathan Brooks, a wealthy real estate broker, beamed at Ethan's black belt status. Harper mentioned issues with new students, Nathan said, slicing his steak. Something about cultural clashes disrupting training. Ethan nodded, keeping his face neutral, ready to spin his version of events. "These twin kids started recently," Ethan said. "They struggle with discipline." "How so?" his mother asked. "They get upset easily, don't respect senior belts. Harper's trying, but they might not fit traditional karate." Nathan sighed. Not everyone's cut out for the character growth martial arts demands. Ethan agreed, his narrative painting him as a patient guide. The Brooks family nodded, their worldview reinforced. Some grasped discipline, others didn't. Ethan framed himself and Mason as mentors handling troublesome novices, hiding their cruelty. Meanwhile, in the Carter garage, training ramped up. Marcus moved to combos and counters, his marine precision shaping the twins into fighters, not just dojo students. They'll use their size and rank to scare you, Marcus said, circling the twins. But size means nothing if you're quicker, meaner. He showed a sequence. Close the gap, hit multiple targets, create space for more strikes. The moves were ruthless, built to overpower. This isn't about karate, he said. It's about winning. Jamal landed a combo on the mitts, the force reverberating. For the first time in weeks, he felt strong, not helpless. Good, Marcus said. Now add the elbow strike we practiced. Don't let them breathe. Jaden's analytical mind absorbed the tactics, his bottled anger fueling each hit, transforming him into a force of calculated aggression. Keep this secret, Marcus said as they wrapped up. At the dojo, act like nothing's changed. How long do we play along? Jamal asked. Marcus's smile was razor sharp. Until the perfect moment hits, it will. The next evening at Crescent Moon, the twins resumed their routine of enduring Ethan and Mason's veiled assaults. But something had shifted. Their demeanor was different, calmer, more strategic. They took the hits, absorbed the taunts, but their eyes held focus. You're getting used to the pain, Mason said after a harsh sparring round. Maybe you're knowing your place. Jamal met his gaze evenly. We're learning plenty, he said, his tone steady, hinting at their hidden strength. Ethan noticed the shift. They're not as jumpy tonight, he told Mason during a break. Usually they're fuming by now. Maybe they're done fighting back, Mason said. About time. But surrender was the last thing on the twins' minds. They studied their bullies' moves, spotting flaws, planning counters they weren't yet ready to unleash. Sensei Harper grew uneasy, Marcus Carter's warning looming. The dojo's finances relied on families like the Brooks and Reeds, making reform risky. After class, he pulled Ethan and Mason aside. Ease up on the Carter twins, he said quietly. Their dad's complaining, and we don't need eyes on our methods. What complaints? Ethan asked, feigning innocence. Just parent stuff about training being too rough, Harper said. Nothing major, but be smart. Mason's eyes narrowed. You saying we go soft on them? I'm saying make it look clean if anyone's watching. The teens shared a glance, understanding. Keep the harassment, polish the facade. The challenge excited them. As the twins packed up post-class, they sensed the change. Ethan and Mason were cagier, but no less vicious. They'll be sneakier now, Jaden said on the walk home. Good, Jamal replied. Sneaky's predictable. That night's garage session zeroed in on countering Ethan and Mason's techniques, Marcus's insight guiding their strategy. They expect orange belt moves, Marcus said, holding a mitt for Jaden's strikes. When the time comes, you'll hit like Marines. In days, the twins shed their victim mindset, embracing a predator's edge. The garage became a war lab, the heavy bags scarred from combos, the floor scuffed from footwork drilled into instinct. Sign-ups for the Oakridge Open end tomorrow, Marcus said, tossing aside a martial arts newsletter. You boys ready to decide? Jamal wiped sweat from his brow, his frame leaner, movements surer after weeks of training. We're in, he said firmly. Jaden, studying the flyer, hesitated, his analytical side weighing the risks of the challenge. It says there are belt-level divisions, Jaden noted. We'd face other orange belts. Not if you go open division, Marcus said, his tone heavy with intent. Jamal's eyes widened. Open means anyone, right? Even black belts? Even Ethan and Mason, Jaden added. Marcus nodded. You ready to show what you've really learned? Not just to defend, but to crush those who think they're above you, Marcos said. The garage fell quiet, the bag's chain creaking softly. This was the culmination of their work, not just physical, but a choice about their identity. Jaden spoke carefully. If we do this, there's no turning back. Everyone will see we've changed. Are you the same kids who started at that dojo? Marcus asked. Jamal clenched his fists, recalling the early weeks of failure and shame. No, we're not, Jaden pressed. What if we lose? 4 weeks of training against years of their experience. Marcus's smile was fierce. They know karate. You know fighting. Big difference. That night, in their shared room, the twins grappled with the moral weight. This feels off, Jaden said. The secrecy, training, plotting revenge. What's off is letting them treat us like dirt, Jamal countered. What's off is a system that guards bullies for their parents' money. Defending ourselves at the tournament, that's not the same. Jaden paused. Is it? Dad's not teaching self-defense, Jamal. He's making us weapons. Maybe we need to be, Jamal said. Or maybe that makes us like them. The tension of their secret training surfaced, skills gained but ethics unclear. Across the hall, Marcus lay awake, wrestling with doubts, torn between honor and the violence he'd unleashed. He'd raised his sons on integrity, solving problems within systems. Now he was bypassing those, weaponizing his boys. Their bruises, the racist taunts, Harper's apathy. It justified his path, didn't it? The decision solidified the next evening in the garage, the twins' resolve hardening as the Oakridge Open loomed, a test of their transformation. The tournament's in 3 weeks, Marcus said. I need to register you tomorrow. No backing out after. Jaden asked, Are we signing up for just the tournament, or everything after? Marcus's face grew grave. Once you step in that ring and show your strength, everything shifts. Dojo, peers, maybe the whole town. Good, Jamal said, fierce. I'm done hiding who we are. Jaden saw his brother's fire, their months of torment fueling it. Despite doubts, he knew Jamal was right. They'd tried enduring, hoping for change. Only strength worked. All right, Jaden said. We're in. Marcus nodded, pride mixed with worry, knowing they'd crossed a point of no return. Tomorrow, I enter you in the open division, Marcus said. Next 3 weeks, we make sure you're ready for anything. Their evening session began, the Carters united in purpose. The tournament wasn't just a contest, it was a reckoning. The Oakridge Community Center buzzed with anticipation, fighters and families packing the gym. Dojo banners hung high, rings set across the polished floor. The Carter twins sat near registration, their orange belts stark amid higher ranks warming up. Carter, Jamal, Jaden, the coordinator called, checking his list. Sure about open division? We've got an orange belt bracket. We're sure, Jamal said, nerves tingling but voice firm. Marcus stood behind them, eyeing Ethan Brooks and Mason Reed stretching with Crescent Moon teammates. The 18-year-olds wore their black belts with cocky ease, chuckling as they glanced at the Carters. Look who showed, Mason said, loud enough to carry. This'll be fun, Ethan added, smirking. Almost feel sorry for them. Almost. Harper approached, his face mixing surprise and irritation. Mr. Carter, I didn't know your boys were competing. Lots you don't know, Marcus replied coolly. Ring 2, open sparring, the announcer called. First up, Mason Reed versus Jaden Carter. A murmur rippled through the Crescent Moon section, the matchup sparking smug anticipation. Parents swapped knowing glances, expecting a quick lesson in rank hierarchy. Jaden walked to ring 2, his orange belt drawing whispers from the crowd. Mason sauntered in, his swagger that of a victor assured. The contrast was stark, the underdog narrative clear, but the twins' secret training held a surprise no one anticipated. The moment crystallized their choice. Jaden felt the weight of their journey. Every bruise, every taunt, every secret drill. If we do this, we're all in, he'd told Jamal. Now, facing Mason, he knew there was no retreat. The tournament would redefine them, not just as fighters, but as brothers who refused to be broken. "Bow to your opponent," the referee said. Jaden's bow was steady, respectful but unyielding. Mason's was lazy, almost taunting. "Fighters ready?" "Go." Mason surged forward with a flurry of strikes, aiming to crush Jaden with superior skill. His opening kick sliced through air as Jaden dodged with a fluidity no orange belt should possess. That night, in their room, the twins had debated their path. "This feels wrong," Jaden had said, voice low. "The lies, the secret drills, planning to take them down." Jamal's eyes burned. "What's wrong is letting them walk over us. A system that protects bullies for cash, that's the real crime. We're fighting for respect." Jaden had paused, wrestling with the moral gray. "Dad's turning us into weapons, not defenders." "Maybe that's what it takes," Jamal said. "Or maybe we become like them." The tension hung heavy. Their skills sharpened, but their hearts conflicted. They'd chosen to fight, but the cost of becoming something new weighed on them both. Marcus, lying awake, grappled with his own doubts. He'd taught his son's honor, to navigate systems fairly. Now he was forging them into tools of retribution. The memory of their injuries, the racist barbs, Harper's indifference. It fueled his resolve. But was he guiding them to justice or vengeance? The line blurred in the dark. The next evening, in the garage, the decision was sealed. "The Oakridge Open's 3 weeks away," Marcus said. "I register you tomorrow. No turning back." Jaden's voice was steady. "Is this just the tournament, or what follows?" Marcus's gaze was intense. "Once you show your true strength, everything changes. Dojo, town, all of it." "I'm ready," Jamal said, his voice firm. "No more hiding." Jaden saw his brother's resolve, their shared pain driving it. He'd tried patience, hoping for fairness. It failed. Strength was their only path. "I'm in," he said. Marcus nodded, pride tinged with fear. The tournament was more than a fight. It was their stand. The Oakridge Community Center pulsed with energy, competitors and spectators filling the gym. Dojo banners swayed above, rings gleaming below. The Carter twins sat near registration, their orange belts a bold contrast to the black and brown belts around them. The air crackled with anticipation, the stage set for their moment of truth. "Carter, Jamal, Jaden," the coordinator called, scanning his clipboard. "Open division, really? We've got an orange belt bracket." "We're set," Jamal replied, his voice calm despite the nerves coiling inside. Marcus stood behind them, a silent pillar, watching Ethan and Mason warm up with their Crescent Moon team, their arrogance palpable. Ethan and Mason, black belts gleaming, traded laughs, eyeing the Carters. "Check out the rookies," Mason said, voice carrying. "This'll be a laugh," Ethan added. "Almost pity them." Their smugness was a challenge, one the twins were ready to meet. Their secret training had forged them into something their tormentors couldn't predict. Harper approached, his expression a mix of shock and annoyance. "Mr. Carter, your boys are competing?" "Plenty you're unaware of," Marcus said, his tone cool. The announcer's voice boomed, "Ring 2, open sparring." Mason Reed versus Jaden Carter. The Crescent Moon section buzzed, expecting a quick lesson in why ranks mattered. Parents exchanged smirks, anticipating Mason's dominance. Jaden stepped to ring 2, his orange belt sparking murmurs from the crowd. Mason strutted in, radiating confidence. The matchup seemed lopsided, a black belt against a novice. But the twins' months of pain, their father's drills, had built something fierce beneath their unassuming exterior. The referee signaled the start. Jaden stood tall, his training a hidden weapon. Mason's first move was a test, probing Jaden's defense. The crowd leaned in, sensing an upset was possible. The twins had endured too much to falter now. Their journey, bruises, taunts, secret nights in the garage, culminated here, in this ring. "Bow to your opponent," the referee said. Jaden's bow was firm, a quiet defiance. Mason's was careless, mocking. "Fighters ready? Begin!" Mason launched a fierce combo, expecting to steamroll Jaden with years of skill. But Jaden slipped aside, his movements sharp, precise, a product of Marcus's brutal training, ready to shock the dojo. The Crescent Moon section fell silent, sensing something off. Mason's kicks missed, his confidence fraying. Jaden's counters were swift, not the clumsy flails of an orange belt, but the strikes of a fighter honed for combat. The crowd murmured, the underdog narrative shifting. The twins were no longer victims. They were a force. Mason pressed harder, his attacks growing desperate. Jaden's training kicked in, his body moving on instinct. The ring became their battlefield, every move a testament to their transformation. The Carters had come to prove they belonged, not just to survive. The crowd's whispers grew louder, the air thick with the promise of an upset. Jaden dodged another strike, his eyes locked on Mason's. The black belt's arrogance was cracking, replaced by confusion. Jaden's next move was deliberate, a strike aimed to stun, not just defend. The twins' journey had led to this moment, their father's lessons about to reshape the dojo's hierarchy in front of everyone. Jaden's counter-strike was lightning fast, catching everyone off guard. He surged forward, slamming a precise fist into Mason Reed's solar plexus, doubling him over. Before Mason could react, Jaden's knee crashed into his ribs, expelling his breath in a gasp. "Point, Carter!" the referee shouted. The gym buzzed with shock, the orange belt's dominance over a black belt unthinkable. Mason's face paled, a mix of disbelief and shame. Orange belts didn't outmaneuver black belts, not with such ruthless accuracy. He reset, his smugness gone, replaced by frantic aggression. Mason unleashed wild combos, driven by panic. Jaden blocked the initial flurry with his guard, then struck back with surgical precision, his training honed in secret garage sessions. A sharp hook to Mason's side, then an uppercut that snapped his head back. Blood trickled from his nose, his eyes wide with fury and confusion. "Point, Carter! Match, Carter!" Mason froze in the ring, his face a storm of humiliation. The crowd's murmurs grew louder, the Crescent Moon section stunned by the orange belt's victory. Mason's mouth moved silently, grappling with his defeat. As the referee raised Jaden's hand, Mason's control shattered. "This can't be," he yelled, voice breaking. "He's an orange belt. It's impossible." Across the gym, Jamal was called to ring one to face Ethan Brooks, the second bully now rattled by his friend's public downfall. Ethan's cockiness had vanished, replaced by barely contained dread after watching Mason's loss. "Not happening to me," he muttered, voice shaky as they squared off. "I've trained since I was 9. "Good for you," Jamal replied, calm but steely. The match kicked off with Ethan's desperate onslaught, throwing every technique from his years of black belt training. Jamal, tempered by weeks of torment, bided his time. When Ethan overcommitted to a roundhouse kick, Jamal slipped beneath, driving an elbow into his exposed ribs. The crack echoed through the gym, Ethan's pained cry silencing spectators. The crowd gasped, witnessing a novice dismantle a veteran, the twins' secret training now undeniable in its impact. Before Ethan could recover, Jamal seized his staggered opponent, hurling him to the mat with a hip toss that shook the floor. "Point, Carter!" Ethan scrambled up, tears of rage and shame streaking his face. The gym buzzed with excitement, parents and fighters struggling to comprehend the orange belt's dominance over a seasoned black belt. The next exchange was swift and brutal. Ethan lunged with frantic punches, but Jamal countered with deadly accuracy. A jab to the throat, then a sweep that sent Ethan sprawling. "Point, Carter! Match, Carter!" Ethan lay on the mat, sobbing in humiliation. The crowd erupted, the Crescent Moon section reeling from the twins' stunning victories. Ethan rose, his face twisted with hatred and wounded pride. The gym hummed with chaotic chatter as the Carter twins stood triumphant. The Crescent Moon contingent exploded in outrage. "This is a scam!" Nathan Brooks roared, charging toward the officials, his face red with fury, unable to accept his son's public defeat. "Those kids aren't orange belts, they're fakes," Stephen Reed echoed, his voice thick with anger. "They've hidden their skills. It's cheating." Sensei Harper joined them, his tone desperate. "There's a mistake. These boys were defenseless weeks ago." The officials faced a storm of accusations, the twins' victories threatening the dojo's reputation and hierarchy. "Someone's been training them illegally," Nathan insisted, pointing at the twins. "They're pros posing as beginners. We demand an inquiry." The tournament director, a composed man in his late 60s, stepped in. "Gentlemen, I've checked their registration. They're verified orange belts from your dojo, earned fair and square under your own instruction." "Then they lied about their experience," Stephen snarled. "No orange belt fights like that." Ethan and Mason stood near their dojo's seats, their humiliation raw and public. Tears of rage glistened in their eyes, their image of invincibility shattered before their peers. The twins' victories had stripped them of status, leaving only bitter resentment. "This isn't done," Ethan whispered, voice trembling with emotion. "They made us look like idiots." "They cheated," Mason growled, fists clenched. "Orange belts don't move like that." Marcus Carter approached the furious parents and officials, his expression calm but edged with menace. "Problem here?" he asked, his Marine bearing commanding attention in the chaotic scene. "Your sons are frauds," Nathan accused, jabbing a finger at the twins. "They're not orange belts. This is a setup." "They earned their belts at your dojo," Marcus replied coolly. 2 months ago, under Harper's watch. Then someone's been coaching them illegally," Stephen shouted, his voice cracking with frustration at the twins' undeniable skill. "No novice fights like that," Stephen added. "Maybe your sons aren't as great as you thought," Marcus said, his tone laced with quiet threat. The words hit hard, Nathan and Stephen flinching as if struck, their pride in their superior sons crumbling under the reality of their defeat by kids they dismissed as lesser. "We saw what happened," Nathan growled. "Your boys humiliated Ethan and Mason on purpose, made them look weak." "Maybe they are weak," Jamal said softly, stepping beside his father. The words ignited Ethan, who let out a furious cry and lunged at Jamal, only for tournament security to swiftly intervene, pulling him back. "Enough," the director barked. "The matches were fair. Results stand as the twins collected their victory certificates." The air crackled with unresolved tension. Their dismantling of Ethan and Mason had forged enemies who wouldn't forget. The Crescent Moon contingent seethed, their pride wounded, plotting retribution for the public disgrace they'd endured. The Carters headed toward the exit when Ethan and Mason broke from their parents, stalking them from behind, their faces streaked with tears of rage, burned with desperation. "Hey!" Ethan shouted, voice raw. Jamal and Jaden turned, still buoyed by their wins, but missed the dangerous glint in their rivals' eyes, a prelude to chaos. "Think you're hot stuff?" Mason snarled, closing in. "Proved something today?" "We proved we're better," Jamal shot back, his confidence bordering on reckless. The taunt snapped their restraint. Ethan swung a wild punch at Jaden's face, while Mason tackled Jamal, both twins crashing down, caught off guard by the sudden, vicious assault. The crowd screamed as Ethan and Mason unleashed their pent-up fury, fists raining down. The twins' months of torment fueled the bullies' attack, sportsmanship abandoned. But Marcus's training kicked in. Jamal rolled clear of Mason's blows, springing into a fighting stance, while Jaden absorbed Ethan's hits, then countered with a brutal uppercut that staggered the black belt. "Want a real fight?" Jamal roared, his tournament poise replaced by raw anger. This wasn't sparring. It was a street brawl, fierce and unforgiving. Jamal's combo split Mason's lip, blood streaming, while Jaden's precise strikes, drilled in secret, dismantled Ethan. The gym descended into chaos, spectators scattering as the fight spiraled out of control. "Stop!" the director yelled, his voice drowned in the uproar. Mason tried another tackle, but Jamal sidestepped, driving a knee into his ribs, folding him over. Ethan landed a glancing blow on Jaden's arm, but Jaden's counterpunch sent him sprawling into a chair. The twins' training shone, turning the ambush into their battlefield. Security rushed in, yanking the fighters apart. Ethan and Mason were bloodied, their black belts torn, stained with their own blood. The twins, breathing hard, showed minor scrapes despite the sneak attack. "What happened?" the director demanded, red-faced. "They jumped us," Jaden said, wiping blood from his lip. "We were leaving." "That's a lie," Ethan choked, his nose broken. "They provoked us." "By beating you fair?" Jamal snapped. Marcus pushed through the crowd, his face a mask of controlled fury, checking his sons. They were alert, barely hurt. The fact that they'd been attacked after winning clean matches ignited his protective instincts. "You boys okay?" Marcus asked, hands scanning for injuries. "We're good, Dad," Jamal said. "Better than them." Nathan Brooks and Stephen Reed arrived, torn between worry for their sons and rage. Ethan and Mason looked wrecked, their martial arts pride obliterated. "This is assault," Nathan shouted, pointing at the twins. "Your boys attacked." "After your sons ambushed mine," Marcus retorted, voice low and lethal. "In front of hundreds." The director huddled with security and witnesses. The verdict was swift. "Ethan Brooks and Mason Reed are disqualified and banned from regional tournaments," he declared. "Attacking opponents post-match is unacceptable." The Crescent Moon contingent reeled, their stars disgraced. "What about them?" Stephen demanded, gesturing at the twins. "They fought back." "They defended against an unprovoked attack," the director said. "That's legal and expected." The ruling sent shockwaves through the Crescent Moon group. Their top students weren't just beaten. They were shamed, banned, their reputations shattered before the martial arts community. "This is absurd," Harper protested. "There's an error here." "The error was letting those boys represent your dojo," the director snapped. "Rethink your methods." EMTs assessed the fighters. Ethan had a broken nose, cut lip, bruised ribs. Mason sported a black eye, facial cuts, and a limp arm. Both needed medical care. The twins, despite the ambush, had minor injuries, their father's training proving its worth in unfair fights. "We should sue," Nathan told his wife, who'd joined the crowd. "They attacked kids who were leaving," Marcus cut in. "Good luck with that." The Brooks and Reed families huddled, their voices rising, grappling with their sons' ruined martial arts futures. The bans would haunt Ethan and Mason through their teens, killing their competitive dreams. "This isn't over," Nathan said to Marcus as they parted. "Not by a long shot." "It is for your boys," Marcus replied. "They chose to jump mine." The words hung heavy, a final nail in the bullies' defeat, their actions sealing their fate. As the Carters gathered their gear to leave, the gym buzzed with talk of the drama. The story would spread fast. 2 orange belts had crushed black belts in competition and a brawl. The twins' triumph was total, their resilience undeniable. But the Brooks and Reed families' bitter glares hinted at a cost yet to be paid. "Dad, they looked furious," Jaden said as they walked to the parking lot. "People hate losing their delusions," Marcus replied, "especially about their kids' greatness." "What'll they do?" Jamal asked. Marcus paused, his marine instincts scanning for threats. "Nothing wise. Angry folks make dumb moves." The drive home felt tense, their victory bittersweet. At home, the twins treated their scrapes while Marcus secured the house, locking doors and arming the alarm. Call it caution or experience, but he sensed the tournament clash was just the start. Across town, the Brooks and Reed families convened, their anger festering. Their son's defeat had shattered years of perceived superiority, and they weren't ready to let it go. In Nathan Brooks' lavish living room, the mood was volatile. We can't let this slide, Nathan said, pacing. Our boys were humiliated, banned, ruined in front of everyone. It's not right, Mason mumbled, lips swollen. They rigged it somehow. Orange belts don't fight like that. Stephen Reed nodded, his face grim, fueling their shared outrage. Something's off, Stephen said. This needs fixing. Their fury hardened into a dangerous plan, not of acceptance, but of retaliation. They'd follow the Carters home for a private talk about respect and consequences. The rational move was to move on, but rationality had fled, replaced by a need to reclaim their wounded pride. By 10 p.m., 2 cars idled at the end of the Carters' street, their occupants watching the house. The Carter home glowed warmly, a picture of suburban calm. Dinner, homework, normalcy. Marcus had just checked the locks when the doorbell rang at 10:47 p.m., shattering the quiet, a harbinger of the trouble he'd anticipated. "Who's that so late?" Aisha Carter asked from the kitchen, drying dishes. Marcus peered out, spotting Nathan Brooks and Stephen Reed on the porch, still in tournament clothes, radiating hostility. "Stay inside," he told Aisha, his voice calm but firm. "Take the boys to their room." "What's wrong?" she asked, sensing his tension. "I've got this." The doorbell rang again, insistent, followed by pounding that echoed through the house. Marcus opened the door, keeping the chain on, leaving a narrow gap. "Evening, gentlemen," he said. "Bit late for a visit." Nathan's voice was tight. "We need to talk about today, about what your boys did to ours." "Your sons attacked mine after losing fair matches," Marcus said. "What's to discuss?" "Open the door," Stephen demanded, stepping closer. "We're not talking through a slit." "We're not talking at all," Marcus replied. "It's nearly 11. You're on my property, uninvited and riled up. Leave." His tone was final, unyielding. Nathan shoved the door, stopping it from closing. "Do you know how much we've spent on our boys' training? 8 years of lessons, fees, gear, camps, thousands. Your kids destroyed it all today." Marcus's laugh was cold. "Your money bought you spoiled bullies. That's not my issue. Their choices brought this on them." "Ethan was eyed for college teams." Stephen cut in, voice desperate. "Scholarships were on the table. Now he's banned till he's 19. "He should have thought of that before jumping my son," Marcus said. "Your boys are the ones who should be banned," Nathan yelled. "They're fakes. Orange belts don't fight like that." "My boys won clean," Marcus said. "Your sons got bans for being sore losers and bad fighters." Nathan and Stephen exchanged looks, their anger mounting as Marcus refused to budge. "We want compensation," Stephen said abruptly. "For what your boys cost us." Marcus scoffed. "For teaching your kids' actions have consequences." "You ruined their futures," Nathan roared. "Their futures were doomed when they targeted my sons," Marcus said. "I just sped it up." "Open this door," Stephen growled, patience gone. "We'll settle this right." "We are settling it," Marcus said. "Leave, or I call the cops. Your choice." His voice carried the weight of a man unafraid. "Call them," Nathan shouted. "We'll tell them about your boys' illegal training, how you made them weapons." "Go ahead," Marcus said. "I'll tell them about your son's months of racial harassment. See who they believe." He unhooked the chain, stepping onto the porch, closing the door. Nathan and Stephen fanned out, thinking they could intimidate him. "Think you're tough from the Marines?" Nathan sneered. "Better than us?" "I don't think I know," Marcus said. "I raised better sons." "Our sons are stars," Stephen protested. "They earned their ranks." "Your sons are bullies who couldn't handle losing to kids they thought beneath them. All that training and orange belts beat them." The words stung, Nathan and Stephen's faces flushing with rage. "You destroyed them," Nathan whispered, voice venomous. "Years of work, college shots, gone because you didn't teach your boys their place." "Their place?" Marcus's voice was deadly soft. "And where's that?" Stephen stepped closer. "You know where." The racism was blatant, raw. Marcus's Marine instincts took over, sizing up two emotional, untrained men. "Last chance to walk," he said, calm but lethal. "We're not going anywhere," Nathan replied, swinging a clumsy punch. Marcus dodged effortlessly, landing a sharp strike to Nathan's chest, dropping him gasping. Stephen charged, but Marcus redirected his momentum, slamming him into the railing. "Stay down," Marcus ordered, but pride drove them up. The fight was brief, one-sided. Nathan grazed Marcus's shoulder before taking a combo that bloodied his nose. Stephen landed no hits, ending face down with Marcus's knee in his back. "Done?" Marcus asked in control. Their hatred burned, but their bodies couldn't fight on. "This isn't over," Nathan gasped, blood dripping. "It is," Marcus said, stepping back. "Your boys are banned, your money's gone, and you learned what happens when you come here." Sirens wailed as police cars turned onto their street, red and blue lights flashing, casting shadows across the quiet suburban neighborhood, signaling the end. Officer Lopez emerged from the lead car, hand near her holster, assessing the scene. Two battered men on the porch, one standing calm. "We got a disturbance call," she said, approaching cautiously. "That was me," Marcus said, voice steady despite adrenaline. "These men came to my property after 11, making threats, then attacked me." "That's not true," Nathan protested, clutching a bloody tissue. "He jumped us. We just wanted to talk." Lopez scanned the scene. Marcus stood composed, barely marked, while Nathan and Stephen bore clear signs of a losing fight. "Your name, sir?" she asked Marcus. "Marcus Carter. This is my home. They're Nathan Brooks and Stephen Reed, uninvited." "We had every right to come here," Stephen said, voice strained. "His boys ruined our sons' futures today. Years of training, thousands spent." "What did they do?" Lopez asked, notepad out. "They beat our sons at a tournament," Nathan said. "In front of everyone." Marcus chuckled. "My boys won fair matches. Theirs attacked afterward." "Security footage will back me up," Marcus added. Lopez's partner, Officer Hayes, returned from talking to neighbors. "Folks heard shouting, saw these two approach aggressively," Hayes reported. "One neighbor saw them push the door when he tried to close it." Marcus nodded. "They trespassed, refused to leave, got physical. I defended myself, nothing more." Nathan's face twisted with indignation. "Look at us! He assaulted us!" Lopez studied the injured men, then Marcus's unmarked stance. "Sir, any military background?" 10 years Marines, 2 combat tours," Marcus said. She nodded, understanding the fight's outcome. 2 untrained men against a trained Marine was a predictable mismatch, their injuries telling the story. "Here's the deal," Lopez said. "Mr. Brooks, Mr. Reed, you'll get citations for trespassing and disturbing the peace. Mr. Carter, you're within your rights to defend your property." Stephen sputtered. "He attacked us." "You were on his land at 11 p.m., threatening after he told you to go. That's trespassing in Texas." Nathan wiped blood from his nose, seething. "Our boys are banned because of his kids. 8 years of training, scholarships, gone." "Your sons got banned for attacking after losing," Lopez said. "That's a tournament issue, not legal." The men realized their night was worsening, their quest for validation backfiring into legal consequences and further humiliation. Inside, the twins watched from their bedroom window, Aisha reluctantly allowing them to see the resolution. "Dad's fine," Jamal whispered, relief evident. Jaden noted Nathan and Stephen's battered state. They learned the same lesson their sons did. Aisha stood nearby, her nurse's instincts clashing with her protective urge, trusting Marcus to handle the crisis. Outside, police finalized paperwork. Nathan and Stephen sat in patrol cars, citations processed, receiving basic medical care. Lopez approached Marcus. "You handled this well, but get security cameras. Vary your routine. These types hold grudges." "Already planned," Marcus said. "Thanks for the quick response." The officers nodded, their job done, the scene calming. As the police cars pulled away, Marcus stood on his porch, scanning the quiet street. The confrontation he'd expected since the tournament was over, decisively in his family's favor. The twins emerged, faces mixing relief and adrenaline. "Is it done, Dad?" Jaden asked, sensing the weight of their victory and its lingering consequences. Marcus looked at his sons, stronger and more confident than months ago. They'd faced bullying, institutional neglect, and emerged victorious against those who saw them as inferior. "It's done," he said firmly. "They know you're not victims, our family won't be pushed, and actions have consequences." His words carried the finality of a lesson hard won. Jamal nodded, grasping the deeper truth. "We don't start fights, but we end them." "Exactly," Marcus said. "But we don't seek trouble. Tonight, they brought it to us. That's different." The family headed inside, the night's events settling like dust after a storm. Their unity a shield against the challenges still to come. Tomorrow, there'd be paperwork, security upgrades, and likely tough talks with school and tournament officials. But tonight, the Carters were safe. Their sons had learned to stand tall, and two bullying fathers had discovered their sons weren't the only ones facing consequences. The lesson was complete, the victory absolute, the twins' transformation from targets to champions undeniable. Across town, the Brooks and Reed families licked their wounds, their sons' futures in tatters. The rational path was acceptance, but their anger burned too hot. They'd lost more than a tournament, status, pride, illusions of supremacy. The Carters had rewritten the rules, proving strength wasn't owned by those who abused it. A truth that stung deep. The Carter home stood quiet, a beacon of resilience in the suburban night. The twins' journey, from dojo victims to tournament victors, had reshaped their world. They'd faced hate, fought back, and won. But the Brooks and Reed families' parting threats lingered, a shadow suggesting the fight for respect was far from over, their story still unfolding. Officer Hayes returned with neighbor accounts. "Locals heard yelling, saw these men approach aggressively," he said. "Mrs. Jenkins across the street saw them shove the door when Mr. Carter tried to close it." Marcus nodded calmly. "They were trespassing. I told them to leave multiple times." His steady voice underscored his clear stance against Nathan and Stephen's reckless intrusion. "They refused, got violent, so I defended myself," Marcus said. Nathan's voice broke with outrage. "Look at us! See what he did!" Officer Lopez eyed the battered men, then Marcus's unscathed form. "Sir, any military experience?" 10 years Marines, 2 combat tours," Marcus replied. The answer explained the lopsided fight, a trained warrior against untrained aggressors. Lopez nodded, understanding why Nathan and Stephen had no chance. "Here's the plan," she said. "Mr. Brooks, Mr. Reed, you're getting citations for trespassing and disturbing the peace. Mr. Carter, you're within your rights to defend your home, but everyone needs to cool off." The ruling was firm, rooted in Texas law and undeniable evidence. "Citations?" Stephen sputtered. "He attacked us." "You were on his property at 11 p.m., threatening after he told you to leave," Lopez countered. "That's trespassing and harassment. Losing the fight doesn't change who started it." Nathan clutched his bloody nose, seething. "Our boys are banned because of his kids. 8 years of training, gone. Your sons got banned for attacking after losing," Lopez said. "That's a tournament call, not legal. Want to add false reports to your citations?" The warning silenced them, their night worsening. They'd sought confrontation, expecting vindication, but found only legal trouble and deeper shame, their accusations crumbling under witnesses and logic. Inside, the twins watched from their bedroom window, Aisha reluctantly allowing them to see the resolution. "Dad's okay," Jamal whispered, relief flooding his voice as Marcus spoke calmly with police. Jaden nodded, noting Nathan and Stephen's battered state. They got the same lesson their sons did. The parallel was stark, a family's arrogance undone by consequences. Aisha stood in the doorway, her nurse's training clashing with maternal instincts. "Your father's always handled trouble well," she said softly. watching Marcus navigate the aftermath with marine precision. Outside, police wrapped up paperwork. Nathan and Stephen sat in patrol cars, citations processed, receiving medical care for injuries, their defeat now official and public. "Mr. Carter," Lopez said, approaching Marcus as the scene calmed. "You manage this well, but install security cameras and mix up your routine. These folks might hold grudges." "Already on it," Marcus replied. "Thanks for the quick response." "Just our job," Lopez said. "Your boys did good. Bullies need to learn consequences." As police cars drove off, carting Nathan and Stephen to booking, Marcus stood on his porch, scanning the quiet street. The clash he'd braced for since the Oakridge Open was over, resolved decisively for the Carters. The twins stepped out, faces blending relief with adrenaline, their strength forged through months of adversity now undeniable. "Is it really done, Dad?" Jaden asked, voice cautious. Marcus looked at his sons, transformed from targets to warriors at 15. They'd faced relentless bullying, institutional neglect, and triumphed over those who saw them as less. "It's done," he said. "They know we're not pushovers, and actions have costs." His words sealed their victory. Jamal nodded, absorbing the lesson. "We don't start fights, but we end them." "Right," Marcus said. "We don't chase trouble. They brought it here, that's different." They headed inside, Marcus glancing at the serene neighborhood. Tomorrow would bring paperwork, security upgrades, and tough talks with schools and tournament officials. But tonight, they were safe. The Carters' safety was hard-won. The twins had learned to stand firm, and two bullying fathers faced the same reckoning as their sons. The lesson was complete. Their triumph total. The twins' shift from victims to victors final. The night settled, a testament to their resilience against a system that tried to break them. 7 weeks post-tournament, Crescent Moon Dojo stood deserted, save for Sensei Harper packing gear, his movements heavy with defeat. A swift investigation by the Regional Martial Arts Board exposed systemic harassment, enabled by an instructor valuing donors over students. Harper's teaching license was revoked. The dojo's national charter permanently canceled. 35 families quit in 2 weeks, Harper muttered, wrapping his black belts. 16 years, gone. Without the Brooks and Reed families' contributions, and parents pulling kids after the scandal, the dojo couldn't pay its lease. The landlord was firm. Businesses tied to controversy had no place in Oakridge Plaza's polished image. At Unity Martial Arts Academy, the Carter twins taught young students. Run by former Marine Master Lin, the dojo drew families fleeing Crescent Moon's disgrace. Karate's about protecting, not harming the weak. Jamal told a 9-year-old white belt struggling with a block, his voice carrying the weight of his hard-earned experience. "Exactly," Master Lin said, watching the twins. "These young men know true martial arts, strength for defense, not bullying." The twins soared under Lin's guidance, earning purple belts in 6 weeks. More than rank, they became mentors, ensuring newcomers trained without fear, a stark contrast to their Crescent Moon ordeal. During a break, Jaden said, "Ethan Brooks is clerking at his dad's firm. Mason Reed's doing online school, avoiding Oakridge High." "Good," Jamal replied, without venom. "Maybe they'll learn something." The tournament's fallout rippled wide. Nathan Brooks's real estate business lost clients after his late-night clash became public knowledge. Stephen Reed missed a promotion at his accounting firm, his reputation stained by citations and publicity. At Oakridge High, the twins' story was legend. Once quiet newcomers, Jamal and Jaden were the brothers who toppled the town's martial arts bullies and exposed Crescent Moon's corruption, their legacy cemented in school lore. "It's odd being known for fighting," Jaden told Jamal, walking home from Unity. "Kids keep asking for the story. Beats being known for getting crushed," Jamal grinned. At home, Marcus was mounting the final security camera, a precaution now unnecessary as the Brooks and Reed families had withdrawn into shamed silence. "How was class?" Marcus asked as the twins entered. "Great," Jaden said. Master Lin thinks we're on track for blue belts by spring. We helped 4 new kids today, Jamal added. No bullying at Unity. Marcus smiled, proud. The twins' journey from victims to guardians was complete, their impact profound. Aisha emerged from the kitchen, pride tempered by worry. Any news on Crescent Moon's closure? End of the month, Marcus said. Harper's trying to sell gear, but no dojo wants it. What about Ethan and Mason? Aisha asked. Banned till 19, Jamal said. Their reps are shot. The family felt the closure. A knock at the door stirred caution, a reflex from recent tensions. It was Master Lin, holding a manila envelope, smiling. I wanted to deliver these myself, he said, handing it to Marcus. Inside were the twins' purple belt certificates and letters for a state martial arts youth leadership program, a testament to their influence. They want Jamal and Jaden to train instructors in anti-bullying methods, Lin said. Your boy's story reached state officials. Schools want to avoid another Crescent Moon. The twins shared a look, their bond strong. Once targets, they were now protectors, a role earned through pain and perseverance, their impact reaching beyond Oakridge. We're honored, Jamal said for both. As Lin left, the Carters settled into their evening, the transformation sparked in a garage now fulfilled. The twins weren't just fighters, they were leaders. Proof victims could become protectors with grit and guidance, their journey a beacon for others facing similar battles. You boys proud of what you've done? Marcus asked over dinner. Proud we didn't give up, Jaden said. Proud we showed we belong anywhere, Jamal added. And proud we can help kids dodge what we faced, they said in unison, their twin sync unbroken, a testament to their shared strength. Outside, Oakridge hummed with suburban calm, but its dynamics had shifted. The bullies were defeated, their instructor ruined, and 2 teens once seen as prey were now leaders. The Carters had rewritten the narrative, proving strength belonged to those who wielded it justly, not those who abused it, a powerful legacy. Justice sometimes crawled through courts, but other times it struck fast. Delivered by those who refused to let might be monopolized by the cruel. The Carter twins mastered both paths, lessons they'd carry forever. Their story was a triumph, a warning to bullies, and a call to stand tall against injustice. A month later, the twins stood at Unity, guiding a new class. Their purple belts gleamed, symbols of their journey. They'd turned pain into purpose, ensuring no child faced what they had. Their leadership program role grew, their influence spreading, a legacy of resilience that would shape Oakridge's martial arts community. Master Lin watched, proud. You boys are changing things, he said. Jamal and Jaden nodded, their silent communication conveying gratitude. They'd faced hate, fought back, and won. Not just matches, but respect. Their story inspired others, a reminder that strength was earned, not given, and could be used to uplift, not oppress. At home, Aisha reflected on their journey. You've made us proud, she told the twins, not just for fighting, but for helping others. The Carters' home, once a battleground, was now a sanctuary. The twins' courage had reshaped their world, proving that standing up could change not just one life, but many. Oakridge's martial arts scene was reborn, with unity at its heart. The twins' anti-bullying workshops drew crowds, their story a rallying cry. They'd turned victimhood into victory, showing strength was about protecting, not dominating. Their legacy was a community where respect trumped fear, a vision they'd fought to create. We're not done, Jamal told Jaden, their eyes on the future. There's more kids to help. Their twin bond, forged in adversity, was unbreakable. They'd faced the worst and emerged leaders, their story a testament to resilience. The Carters had shown that true power lay in standing up, no matter the odds. The Carters' tale was one of transformation, from targets to trailblazers. They'd exposed corruption, defeated bullies, and built a better path. Their journey wasn't just a win. It was a revolution, proving justice could be swift when courage led the way. Oakridge would never forget the twins who changed it all. Thanks for joining this tale. Drop a like and subscribe to catch the next one. I've picked 2 more stories you'll love. Stay tuned and have an awesome day.